Okay, the vote unofficial right now, 57-43, 7 Republicans voting guilty. But it appears that the measure will fall short again, keeping in mind the requirement of 2/3 of those present.
Handwriting vote, the yeas are 57, the nays are 43.
Yep. The yeas are 57. The nays are 43. 2/3 of the senators present not having voted guilty. The Senate judges that the respondent, Donald John Trump, former president of the United States, is not guilty as charged in the article of impeachment. Presiding officer directs judgment to be entered in accordance with the judgment of the Senate as follows. The Senate, having tried Donald John Trump, former president of the United States, upon one article of impeachment exhibited against him by the House of Representatives, and 2/3 of the senators present not having found him guilty of the charge contained therein, it is therefore ordered and adjudged that the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby acquitted of the charge in said article.
President.
Majority Leader is recognized.
Mr. President, I send an order to the desk.
And the clerk will report.
Ordered that the Secretary is directed to communicate to the Secretary of State as provided by Rule 23 of the Rules of Procedure and Practice in the Senate when sitting on impeachment
All
trials.
right, again, the vote 57-43,
Representatives
57 guilty, 43 guilty, but again, failing to make that 2/3 bar. And so Donald J. Trump is acquitted of the accusation that the riot, the insurrection at the Capitol. So let me bring in our NBC News political director and moderator of Meet the Press, Chuck Todd. Chuck, not an unexpected outcome. How will those 7 Republican votes, though, that cited guilty, how will that be seen in the totality of this?
Well, look, there's one way to look at it, Lester, and it's not perfectly analogous, but if you look at the Republican Party of today and you do any poll, it is approximately somewhere between 15 and 20% that are not for Trump. And so in this case, you had 14% of the Republican senators vote to convict. So it's, some of them come from states that are very pro-Trump, like Mr. Cassidy of Louisiana. So it's not a perfect comparison, but in the grand scheme of things, in many ways, it is reflective of where the party is, which is a lion's share of the Republican Party is decided to stick with the former president on this issue. I'm sure we're going to hear Republican senators are going to fall into 3 camps, right? We have the 7 that we know voted to convict, and they're going to have very, I think, clear rationales for why they did that. You're going to have some like Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, who were very much with the president the whole time, will be very, very comfortable in their defense of that vote. But you're going to have, and it'll be very interesting how many attempt to go on the record and essentially have it both ways and say, similar to what Mitch McConnell telegraphed earlier today, which is he doesn't believe the Senate was proper jurisdiction, but he didn't exactly endorse the president's behavior. And he seemed to imply, and we'll see what more he has to say in a few minutes, seemed to imply that under some circumstances, he might have voted to convict. So you'll have some number of Republicans that fall into that camp. But the bigger picture here, Lester, is has the Republican Party, whether this was their intention or not, and have Republican senators here, by not doing enough to convict, whether it was their intention or not, essentially given a permission slip to elevate what is acceptable violence in American politics. And some people may not like hearing me put it in those terms, but that is the slippery slope that some may have to address at some point.
A person we have not heard from throughout all this is